Hi guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video we're going to talk about my January reading wrap up and my February TBR. So in January I read 4 books. The first book I read was Spectacular by Stephanie Garber. This is a caravel novella that happens around the holidays, and I thought it would be the perfect time to start it on Christmas Day, but I was very busy with the New Year, so I ended up finishing it only in January. It's really nice. It was really nice to read about the characters again because I read Caravel about 1 or 2 years ago, so it was really nice to get back into the Caravel world, and I overall really enjoyed it. I don't remember exactly how much I rated it. I rated it 4 stars simply because I hate the main character. I hate Donatella. It's a very hot take because people love her, but I genuinely don't understand how people like her. She's just a spoiled brat and she just doesn't care about other people's feelings, in my opinion, and she only cares about herself. So that's why I rated it 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars strictly for Scarlett and Julian. That's why I rated it 4 stars, because I hate Donatello so much. Next, I read The Cruel Prince, which was very hard for me to get into. I started it 3 times before I actually got into it and finished reading it. There is a lot of world building in the first 200 pages, and it's so hard to understand because there's no plot basically. It's just world building, introducing the characters and stuff, and it was very boring for me, and I genuinely could not get into the book. But after I read it, it was so good. I think I rated it 4 stars simply because it took me 3 times to read it, and that's why I basically rated it 4 stars. If you don't know what the book is about, the book follows Jude, our main character. She is human that is forced to live in the fairy world, that it's somehow a separate universe, that it's in our world but it's a separate realm, and she has to stay there with her 2 sisters. This does not convince you to give it a try. As the Cruel Prince hater for ever since I first tried reading it, and now I love the series. It's one of my favorites. You have to read the series. Obviously, I read the second book afterwards, which was my second favorite. My top number 1 of the trilogy was The Queen of Nothing. So this was on the second place. I'm not gonna tell you guys much about it because you need to read the first book, and I genuinely don't want to spoil things for you. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars, I think, or 5. I think it was 5 stars because I remember I really loved it, and it was so fast-paced and so good. Yeah, I give it 5 stars. I give 5 books 5 stars very easily. So in most of my book reviews it's 5 stars simply because they made me feel something at the moment, but probably if I were to think about them later, I would not rate them that much. But I just rate it as soon as I finish it. So this book is really good. This book finally starts to have some romance going on, because if you want to read The Cruel Prince for the romance, there's barely any romance. Most romance happens in the second, and most happens in the third book. So if you start reading it, there's not much romance, don't worry, it's gonna come, but it's very political and very fantasy. It's not a romantasy, it's a heavy fantasy book trilogy, and I highly recommend it. So yeah, this was my second favorite, and this one was my favorite. Everything unleashed and everything that needed to happen finally happened. The build-up was insane, and I was just waiting for what was to come. I did have spoilers from TikTok, but some things I was not expecting to happen, and I didn't know exactly how they would turn out or how things would get there, and it was really fun to read. This was my favorite book of the trilogy, and it was so good and the best ending, honestly. And I will probably be reading Oak's books, the Soul and Air series, but my TBR is over 30 books, so I promised myself I'm not gonna buy any, and I'm just gonna focus on finishing my TBR. For me, February is going to be the month of me finishing books that I started either a while ago or recently, and they were putting me in a slump because I hate DNFing books. I don't think I've ever DNF'd a book in my life. I'd much rather go through it and just read the book. So I'm currently reading Mile High by Liz Tomford. It's such a good book, but I just had my exam season. I have another exam, so I couldn't really read that much. I started also annotating it. I'm halfway through, and it's such a good book. I think I'm gonna finish it this week because I have some free time. If you don't know what it's about, the main character Stevie, it's dual POV, so we have Stevie and Xander's. She is a flight attendant and he is a hockey player, so basically she works for his NFL team. And you guys, like, this is a very known trope in sports romance. So she obviously hates sports players, like she doesn't want to date anyone in the sports field and things like that. It's very common in sports romance. It's enemies to lovers, he falls first and harder. I'm so excited to read it, and then we'll see my review in my February reading wrap up. Next, I want to read The Final Gambit. It's very hard for me to get into it. I don't know why. I love the first book, I love the second book, but I've had these for like over a year now and I cannot get myself to finish The Final Gambit. It's just, I don't know, it kind of feels a little like I obviously want to find out what happens, but I don't know, I can't like get myself to read it. So I will try to read it this month. No promises though, because I still have other books that I started, but I only selected a few. Next is Iron Flame. Thing is, I did get spoiled with the ending, and I think that's why I cannot like finish it. I just have this much left of it, but I know the ending and it's very hard for me to get into it. Like I'm afraid that this is gonna be a 3-star read, but you guys will find out in my February reading wrap up. And I also really want to read Onyx Storm. Like, I'm so excited, and I saw some spoilers on TikTok. Like, guys, please put spoiler warnings not in your caption. I'm not reading captions, just freaking put it on the screen, like anywhere on the screen. Put a spoiler warning, please, because you guys are just mean. You're just mean people and I hate you. I'm sorry. So yeah, I really want to finish it because I love the universe and I kind of love the characters, but it's very hard for me to get into it. Next, it's Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross. I started this in January and I read half of it and I couldn't. It's just, I feel like she writes so beautifully. I love Divine Rivals. It's one of my favorite books of all time. But this one, it's very hard for me to enjoy. I feel like the story just goes on for too long. It could have been shortened. Like, genuinely, it's not really like 400 pages, like 300 pages could have been enough. That's probably why I cannot like properly get into it and enjoy it. So that's unfortunate, I know, but it is what it is, and I'm genuinely like hoping that this is gonna be a 5-star because I love Divine Rivals so much and I want to love this one as much as I love that one. So thank you guys for watching my video and listening to me rant about books. Let me know what other kind of videos you want from me. I'm thinking about doing reading vlogs, like reading Emily Henry for a week. I've never read Emily Henry books, so I would love to get that. Only reading like self-help books for a week, classics for a week, like things like that. If you guys want to see those kind of videos from me, definitely let me know in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys for watching and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!